Hello, and welcome to another effective and amazing episode of English with Leo and Stella podcast, where we help you speak real English in a simple, fun, and natural way. I'm your host, Leo.
And I'm Stella, your co host. We're so happy to have you here today. If you're someone who's been learning English for months or even years, but still finds it hard to speak, this episode is just for you.
Yes, let me ask you a question, and be honest. Have you ever said, I understand English, but I just can't speak it? Or maybe, I know the words, but when I try to talk, nothing comes out. If that sounds like you are not alone.
Right. So many learners feel this way. They study English for years, in school, online, with apps or books. But when it's time to speak, they freeze. They feel nervous. They forget words. They lose confidence. And then they stop trying.
Exactly. And that's why today we're going to talk about something very important. Why you still can't speak English, and what you can do about it.
We're going to look at the real reasons why speaking English is hard. And trust us, it's not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about fear, habits, mindset, and practice. And the good news is, you can fix it.
We'll also give you some real, simple tips that actually work, even if you're shy, busy, or just starting out. And don't worry, we'll go slowly and clearly so you can listen and understand at any level.
So grab a cup of tea, relax, and get ready. And hey, this podcast is not just for listening. We want you to speak with us. Yes, you. Speak out loud, repeat after us, and practice your English as we go.
All right, let's begin. Let's talk about the real reasons you can't speak English yet, and how we can change that starting today. So, let's get into it. You've been learning English for a long time, but speaking is still difficult. Why is that? What's really stopping you?
And no, it's not because you're bad at languages. That's not true. Most of the time, the reasons are small things you don't even notice. Little habits or thoughts that get in the way.
Right. For example, one of the biggest reasons people can't speak English is fear. They're afraid of making mistakes. They think, what if I say something wrong? Or, what if people laugh at me?
Yeah, that fear is powerful. I've talked to learners who never speak, even when they know the answer, just because they don't want to feel embarrassed. And I totally get it. Making mistakes in front of others can feel scary.
But the truth is, everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers, and mistakes are part of learning. You won't improve if you're always quiet. You have to speak to get better.
Exactly. And honestly, most people aren't judging you. They're happy you're trying to speak their language, so be brave. Say the wrong thing. Laugh, learn, keep going.
Another reason is that many learners only study English, but they don't use it. They spend hours reading, watching, listening, but never practice speaking.
That's so true. It's like reading books about how to drive a car, but never sitting behind the wheel. You might know a lot, but that doesn't mean you can do it.
Exactly. Speaking is a skill. You have to practice it out loud. Even if you're just talking to yourself in your room, it still counts. Your mouth, your brain, they need to work together. That takes practice.
And here's another common issue: translating in your head. Learners think in their native language and then try to change each word into English. That makes speaking really slow and stressful.
Yes, you're thinking, okay, how do I say this in English? But by the time you find the words, the moment has passed. It's frustrating.
The better way is to think in simple English from the start. Learn short phrases. Get used to how they sound. Like, don't think, how do I say I'm hungry? Just know that I'm hungry means the feeling you have, and say it automatically.
Right. You want English to feel natural, like a friend, not like a puzzle you have to solve every time you speak.
Another thing I see a lot is perfectionism. Some learners want to say everything just right, with perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, the perfect word. And if they can't, they don't say anything at all.
Yes, that's such a big block. You think, if I can't say it perfectly, I shouldn't say it at all. But that's the wrong approach. We learn by doing, not by waiting until we're perfect.
Speak with mistakes. Use simple words. Just say it. The more you do, the more natural it becomes. Speaking is like learning to walk. You fall at first, then you get stronger.
Exactly. And here's another reason people struggle. They repeat the same bad habits again and again. Maybe they always say, I don't know in every conversation. Or maybe they never ask questions, even when they want to talk.
Yes. And sometimes they use the same 2 or 3 phrases every time and avoid learning new ones. Or they speak too fast because they're nervous, and then they get stuck.
You need to notice these habits and try to change them, one step at a time. Listen to how others speak. Try new ways to say things. Don't be afraid to mix it up.
And the last big reason is simple. You don't speak enough. Or maybe you don't speak at all. And it's not your fault. Maybe you have no one to talk to, or maybe you're too busy or too shy.
Yes, we get it. But speaking is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets weak. You don't need hours every day. Even 10 minutes of speaking a day, to yourself, to a friend, or with a podcast can really help.
So let's review. Fear of mistakes, not enough speaking, translating too much, trying to be perfect, repeating bad habits, and not speaking at all. These are the real reasons people struggle to speak English.
That's right. And in the next part, we'll show you exactly how to do that, step by step, with simple ideas you can use today.
Don't go anywhere. You're closer to confident English speaking than you think. Okay, so now that we've talked about the hidden reasons why speaking English feels hard, let's talk about something even more important: your mindset.
Yes, mindset is everything. It's how you think about learning English and how you think about yourself as a learner.
Because here's the truth: many learners already have the knowledge. They know words, they understand grammar, but deep down, they believe they're not good enough to speak.
Or they think, I'm too old to learn, or my pronunciation is terrible, or I'll never sound fluent. These negative thoughts become walls, and those walls stop you from growing.
Exactly. You start to think it's not worth trying, or that other people are just better at languages. But that's not true. You are capable. You just need to believe it and take small steps every day.
And that's why confidence is more important than perfection. Let me say that again. Confidence is more important than perfection. You don't need perfect grammar or a big vocabulary to speak English. You need the courage to speak anyway.
Yes! I mean, think about how children learn a language. They make tons of mistakes. They say funny things. They mix up words. But they don't stop. They keep trying. They listen. They copy. They speak. And they learn.
That's such a good example. Kids don't worry about being wrong. They're not embarrassed. They just go for it. And that's why they improve so fast.
So, what can we learn from that? We need to stop being afraid of looking silly. We need to stop judging ourselves. Learning a language is not a test. It's a journey. It's okay to make mistakes along the way.
And here's something important. When you change how you think, everything else becomes easier. If you believe you can speak English, you'll try more. And if you try more, you'll improve faster.
We've seen this with so many learners. Once they stop saying I can't speak and start saying I'm learning to speak, something changes. They relax, they enjoy it more, and their confidence grows.
You don't need to be fluent tomorrow. You just need to make progress today. Speak one sentence. Try one new word. Record your voice for 30 seconds. These small actions matter, and they build your confidence.
And we want to remind you, you are not alone. So many people feel the same fear and pressure, but you're here, listening, learning, trying, and that already shows strength.
So give yourself permission to learn like a child. Be curious, be brave, be kind to yourself. You can do this.
And we'll be with you every step of the way. In this podcast, we're not here to judge you. We're here to help you grow.
Exactly. This is your space to learn, speak, and feel proud of every small step. And speaking of small steps, in the next part, we'll share simple speaking habits that really work.
Yes, habits you can use every day, even if you're shy or busy. So stay with us. The next part might be your favorite.
All right, now comes the exciting part. Let's talk about what actually works. These are simple, daily speaking habits that you can start using today, no matter your level.
Yes, we've talked about mindset. We've talked about the common problems. But now, let's get practical. How can you really start speaking English more?
First habit, and it might sound funny, but it's powerful. Talk to yourself in English.
Yes, it sounds a little strange at first, but it really helps. You don't need a partner. Just speak your thoughts out loud in English during your day.
For example, when you wake up, say, "Okay, now I'm getting out of bed. I'm brushing my teeth. I feel tired, but let's go." Simple things like that.
Exactly. You're not performing. You're just practicing. The more you speak to yourself, the more natural English starts to feel in your mind and mouth.
Now, here's another great habit. It's called shadowing. That means you listen to a sentence and then repeat it immediately, trying to match the speaker's voice, speed, and tone.
This is one of my favorite techniques. You can do this with a podcast, YouTube video, or even this show. Just pause after we speak and try to copy how we say it.
Yes, it helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. Don't worry about understanding every word. Just repeat what you hear. You're training your ear and your mouth at the same time.
Another great one is the mirror method. You stand in front of a mirror and speak. Look at your face, your mouth, your expressions. It helps you become more confident and aware of how you speak.
And don't worry if you feel shy. You're alone, remember? The mirror doesn't judge. Start by introducing yourself. Say things like, "Hi, my name is Maria. I live in Brazil. I'm learning English because I want to travel."
And keep going. Describe your day. Ask yourself questions in English, and then answer them. It's like having a little English conversation with yourself.
Now, here's another powerful habit. Record yourself speaking. It might feel scary at first, but it's such a good way to improve.
Yes, when you listen to your own voice, you notice things: pronunciation, speed, grammar. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just listen and ask, how can I make this a little better next time?
And the best part? You can track your progress. Save your recordings. In 1 month or 3 months, you'll hear how much you've improved.
All right, let's move on to something even more social. Practice with a partner or join a speaking group. Even if it's just once a week, it makes a big difference.
You can find a language partner online or join a small group on apps like Zoom, WhatsApp, or even Facebook. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just talk.
And remember, your partner doesn't need to be a native speaker, just someone who wants to practice like you. You can help each other and learn together.
And here's the last tip. Use small, real conversations, not big, scary ones. Don't start with deep topics like politics or philosophy. Just talk about your day.
Yes. Say things like, "What did you eat today? How was your weekend? Do you like music?" These are real, everyday conversations that help you build fluency.
Start small. Grow step by step. It's not about long speeches. It's about short, real speaking moments that build your confidence.
So let's quickly review. Talk to yourself, shadow what you hear, use the mirror method, record yourself, speak with a partner, and keep conversations simple and real.
If you use just 2 or 3 of these habits every week, you'll feel the difference. Speaking will feel less scary and more natural.
And remember, we're not aiming for perfect English. We're aiming for confident, real English.
Up next, we're going to show you how to use these tips in action. With a live speaking practice you can follow with us. You don't want to miss it.
So stay with us and get ready to speak along with us next.
All right, friends. Now that we've practiced speaking together, let's talk about something very important. Building a daily speaking routine.
Yes, this is where many learners get stuck. They want to speak better, but don't know how to practice every day. Or they think they need a lot of time. But the good news is, you don't need hours.
Exactly. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day is enough to make big progress. The key is consistency. Doing a little every day is better than doing a lot once a week.
And don't wait for perfect grammar or perfect words. If you wait for perfect, you might never start. Remember, speaking is about communicating, not being perfect.
Right. So the best way is to mix listening and speaking together. When you listen, you hear natural English. When you speak, you practice using it.
Here's a simple daily plan you can try. It only takes 10 to 15 minutes.
First, spend 3 to 5 minutes listening to something in English. It could be a podcast, a song, or a short video. Try to listen actively. Pay attention to how words sound and the rhythm.
Next, spend 5 to 7 minutes speaking. Use the speaking habits we talked about earlier. Talk to yourself, shadow the speaker, or use the mirror method. You can also repeat sentences you heard during listening.
Finally, spend a few minutes recording yourself. Listen back and notice what you did well. Don't be too hard on yourself. Celebrate your effort.
If you follow this routine every day, you'll see your confidence and speaking skills improve, even if you only have 10 minutes.
And it's okay if some days you can only do a little. The important thing is to keep going, day after day.
Think about it like brushing your teeth. It's a small habit, but it makes a big difference over time. Speaking English works the same way.
So, to sum up, don't wait for perfect grammar. Mix listening and speaking. Practice a little every day, just 10 to 15 minutes. Use the methods that feel good to you.
And most importantly, believe in yourself. Your English will grow with time and practice. You can do this.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you for speaking with us. Keep practicing and stay confident.
See you next time. And remember, your English journey is a wonderful adventure. Keep going. Well, we've come to the last part of today's episode. Some final advice for you on your English speaking journey.
Yes, Stella. And the most important thing we want to say is this. It's okay to make mistakes. Really okay.
So many learners feel scared or embarrassed when they make a mistake. But mistakes are not failures. They are proof that you're trying. They show that you're learning.
That's right. Learning to speak English is a slow process. It doesn't happen overnight. But every time you speak, Even if it's just one sentence, you're moving forward.
And progress, even small progress, is very powerful. Think about it like planting a seed. You water it a little every day, and over time it grows into a strong tree.
Exactly. So don't focus on being perfect. Focus on getting better. And trust the process.
If you keep trying, keep practicing, and keep speaking, you will improve. It might take time, but the results will come.
And remember, you're not alone. Many people are learning English just like you, facing the same challenges.
So be kind to yourself. Celebrate your efforts, even the small ones. Every word you say in English is a victory.
And we're here with you, cheering you on. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and most importantly, never give up.
That's right. Your English journey is a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, enjoy the learning, and be proud of how far you've come.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope it gave you new ideas and encouragement to speak English confidently.
See you next time on the podcast. Keep speaking, keep growing,